You're on Coffee Talk. Welcome. It's Sunday, and I hope you guys are all having a great morning. Make sure you go into the links down below, click on the descriptions, and check out our web store. We have a lot of great stuff up there. Web store. What am I doing? I need my coffee fix. Well, anybody, it is Coffee Talk. We have two lovely ladies in the hot seat. It all starts now on Coffee Talk. Don't touch that dial, children.
It's Coffee Talk with ADIKA. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here with Stefan and all his friends.
Book A Light in the Dark, Surviving More Than Ted Bundy. This is Kathy Kleiner's RUBIN story, and we had Kathy on the show before, but I figured it was such a great time talking to her that we need both ladies, both authors on the show, and the book is available now, so you click on the links down below or right above here, and if you're traveling, you might want to take that on a plane with you wherever you go, and it's a great read. She's a real superhero, Kathy, first of all, you know, surviving lupus, Bundy, and breast cancer. True survivor and warrior. And Emily, you co-wrote this with Kathy. I got to ask you, how did Emily meet Kathy, or how did Kathy meet Emily?
We have a mutual friend, Tori Telfer, and she currently is living in New York, but she's from the Chicago area, and she came to Chicago to sit on a panel that I was also on for a conference called Murder and Mayhem in Chicago. And it was for writers, mostly mystery writers, but they had a nonfiction panel. And Tori has authored 2 nonfiction books. She also had a podcast called Criminal Broads, and it's typically women on the wrong side of the law. But then she also occasionally did crime fighting broads. And because Kathy so bravely testified against Ted Bundy, she wanted to tell Kathy's story. I heard the podcast and I reached out to Tori and said, if she ever wants to tell her story, I would be happy to help her. So we connected and towards the end of the summer of 2020 and really talked a lot about what would this be like? What would it be like for Kathy to tell her story? And she really thought long and hard about doing it. And in the end, she decided to do it because she wanted to really shine a light on the other victims who can't speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of talking about, you know, there's at least 36 women that we know, women and girls who were killed by Ted Bundy, probably more. To kind of, we would kind of like, you know, I guess envision them a little bit, these shadow figures, and think about, you know, would they want her, she was about to say, and we felt like, yes, they would, that this was a book that was really going to contradict what so many people thought they knew about Ted Bundy. And we thought it needed to be said. People needed to hear that so many of these women and girls who have been remembered as going willingly with Ted Bundy did not. Towards the end of our book, we have a list of how most women were attacked, and the vast majority of them were either in bed like Kathy, or later during his confessions, Ted Bundy said, I just pounced from a bush. He, you know, had tried all day, and, you know, he wore the sling, he got on crutches, he asked women for help, and they wisely thought he was creepy. And, you know, you see in all these newspaper articles surrounding that time of women saying, yes, he came up to me on campus. And I said no. And then he admits later on that he just, you know, hid in a bush. He gave up and waited for a woman who was, you know, alone and usually small. And he waited for her to walk by, and then typically, you know, hit her on the head with something blunt to knock her out, and then dragged her into his vehicle. So we set out to really change that. And then along the way, tell Kathy's story, which I think is surprising to people, how bright she is, and how she's a very content person. Every day she loves her life, and that she lives a good life and she's happy. And I think that might be a little surprising to people in the book, how much she's gone through, but how positive she is.
Everybody could hear her, but she very positive lady. Like what this woman has went through, from lupus at a young age. When I spoke with her about chemotherapy and all that. As a kid, just dealing with that alone, okay?
Yeah.
That's chapter 1.
Yeah.
Then you go to chapter 2, you enter Bundy, that the world knows this
Mhm.
name and this figure and what they put him on, this crazy this pedestal that people put him on, and this
Yeah.
she sleeping,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
evil comes in the room. It's like,
They never should have met. They never should have met. It's really insane to think that he escaped that jail in
Before
Colorado.
his escape, Ted Bundy had been out of his cell exploring that overhead crawl space he escaped through. Jail officials knew about that, and they did nothing about it. Now, Bundy was to go on trial Monday for the murder of a woman near Aspen. Over the weekend, he escaped from his jail cell by squeezing through a small hole in the ceiling. In Denver, KOA-TV says it is confirmed that other inmates had heard Bundy crawling around above the ceiling at times before his escape. The inmates told jailers, but nothing was done about it. KOA says Under Sheriff Robert Hart confirms this report. Today, the FBI took over the search and issued a fugitive warrant charging Bundy with unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. Agents feel the former Utahn is out of Colorado, possibly out of the country. The search reaches all over the West right now and the East Coast, Canada, and Mexico. Dozens of leads are coming in, but so far nothing solid. Some officers feel it's going to be a long time before Theodore Bundy is behind bars again.
That he escaped that jail in Colorado
mhm.
and, got on a plane, hitchhiked his way to Colorado or to Denver, and then he had money from his girlfriends. Had been giving him money. Mostly, my understanding was through books. They were putting the bills into books and giving him books in jail. So he
Wow.
took that money, took a plane to Chicago, got across town to the Union Station, went up to Ann Arbor, and it was there he decided he was going to Tallahassee. They never should have met. Never should have met.
That's a crazy
And
story.
then he saw the door to the Chi Omega sorority house was open. On his way to go kill another woman who he also attacked while she was sleeping. It's insane. She's never questioned why. She's never said, "Why me?" Like, she's never in all our conversations, like, felt sorry for herself or wanted to know why me,
even you
which is
just talking
amazing.
about this right this second and saying that he saw the doors. Do you know how, like, I get
Mhm.
creeped out. I was editing the show with Kathy, and I was waking up. I was not waking up. I was like looking at the doors, making sure everything is shut, the windows double locked. I spooked the hell out of myself. How
Mhm.
does Kathy do this? And I swear, Kathy, you are a superhero, and you just fearless. Because I'm just reading your story. I didn't live it, and I'm scared just after talking to you, locking my windows and being neurotic because that's how my brain is. How do you just do that? I wish Kathy could answer us, but Emily, how did she just do that? Just
She's, she's really amazing, and, I've thought about this a lot because she doesn't live in the past, and she doesn't hold a grudge, which, I think is phenomenal, and yeah, she is a warrior. She's a very strong lady. Um, she's very in the present, and I think that she's also amazing at compartmentalizing her life. So, like, this is the moment that she and unfortunately, her mic isn't,
I know.
working, but, uh, if it were, this would be her moment for discussing the attack, discussing the trial, discussing Ted Bundy, and then she won't take that through the rest of her day with her. If she's with her husband, with her dog, riding around in that golf cart that you like to ride around in. That is what she's
Mhm.
doing in the moment. She's not like seeing Ted Bundy in front of her. And I think that is very phenomenal. And I don't know if that's something I could do.
For people out
I
there
don't know if
watching,
I'd be as good.
no, no, but for somebody out there watching that maybe is dealing with this or dealt with this, Kathy is a true inspiration and just to help
She is.
somebody. Emily, when
Thank
you met
you.
Kathy, and when you met
Mhm.
Kathy, from your view, and you're going to talk to her, and you want, and just to open up to you, did you feel a little strange? How am I going to ask these questions? How am I going to get this lady to open up without her, bringing back this stories? It might affect her again. Did you look at it like that at some?
She was really easy to talk to regarding herself. So
Mm.
that part was very easy. And I think that we connect very easy. And so we bonded very, very quick. And then talking to her about her story was very easy. I was more so nervous about sending her the pages. And so the way we worked was we did interviews. For a while, we were like every Tuesday. We would talk for a couple hours, and then we had to structure the paragraphs for how the book is going to look, and then do the sample chapters. And it was when I first started writing, I'd send her like 2-3 pages at a time so she could correct it and make sure that I had her voice. And then there were parts along the way where I just kept struggling with, and we'd have to keep going back and back and back for her to kind of help me get it right. But I'd get nervous about some of the things that were going to be brutal. And I would always send her, she's going to laugh because, we'll see her laughing. I would send her like these little poems or these little songs. I would send her like the little like links to like YouTube songs because I was trying to like, I don't know, kind of cushion it in. And then I realized very quickly she didn't need that.
Yeah.
That part of, I think what makes her so amazing and so strong is how much she just looks at this directly. And I think she does it sometimes in a way where she pulls herself out of it and has a very like rational way of looking at it, and that like enables her to make sense of it. The other thing I have to say, and this might really surprise people, she never once cried for herself when we talked. She only cried for the other victims. And there was only one time when we were speaking, and it's the part when Bundy came back to hit her again and she realized she was going to die, that her voice cracked. And that was the only time. Every other time, and Kathy, I don't want to make you cry now, but she never has cried for herself. It's always been for the victims. And mostly she worries that they were cold, is her concern. It's the women who were left, the women and girls in the mountainside. She always worried that they were cold, and she thinks about them just in the leaves and the bushes, and that would always bother her. But she never cried for herself. Now, on a lighter note, I should say, that, and part of that story, because Kathy and I throughout, her mom ends up being a funny character in the book. So there's parts in the book where you laugh out loud because of her mom, and Kathy wanted it that way because you got to give the reader a break. So I will give us a break now and tell you that that one time she did almost start crying for herself during the attack. I had this little Chihuahua who has since passed named Mia, and she always sat on a cushion on my desk. And she got right up and just started walking across my keyboard. And probably the most important moment in all of our interviews, this little Chihuahua walking through. And I was just like, are you serious right now? Are you really doing this to me? But she never cried for herself.
In the meantime, I want everybody to click on the links and check out Kathy's book along with Emily, and right here, you can check it out. A Light in the Dark, Surviving More Than Ted Bundy. And if you like this interview, then you're really going to enjoy the book, and it might be able to help somebody else out there that's going through something crazy. And Debbie Moeller, thank you for being a Patreon. And look at this. Look what she's, thank goodness for Emily. She's
thank you, Debbie.
Emily right there. And look,
Appreciate
thank you, ladies. She's saying, you see, you got the love over here, but not always great to have you here. Kathy, even though your sound didn't work, you look beautiful. It was great to meet your husband. Meantime, you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanks for both being here. I appreciate you both. Okay.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
I'll let you guys out of the studio. Everybody, Emily and Kathy, say goodbye to them, and everybody give them a lot of love. I am Stefan. Everybody, you're all beautiful. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and call somebody you haven't spoken to in a long time. They might really want to hear from you. Right, Emily and Kathy? Right?
Good idea. Good idea.
All right.
Yeah.
We're out of here, kids. We'll see you later.
Nothing runs with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here. We're stepping
Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell and put your comments down below and give us a thumbs up. And please, please, please enjoy your Thanksgiving. Who loves you, baby? We do.